welcome to the Career Corner. My name is Heather Swift, and I'm delighted to be your host. The purpose of the Career Corner is to help people move from career distress to career success. Have you ever wanted to tap into the mind of a business coach? Well, today is your lucky day. We'll be speaking with my guest, business coach Rich Largman. He's from New Jersey, and he has a lot of great information and top tips to share with us. Rich, thank you for coming to the Career Corner.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
So what differentiates between a business coach and a career coach?
I'd say the key distinction is that I focus on businesses, as my title says, and I help them break through any of the barriers they may have that are holding them back. I also work with executives, so with them as well, I just help them with their barriers and breakthrough to achieve higher levels of success. A career coach obviously works with people specifically on the concept of finding a career that they love, or perhaps transitioning from one career to the next or one job to the next. I don't have an expertise in that. It's not something that I particularly enjoy. So
you move to the business sector.
Business sector and all the challenges that business people find in those areas, yes.
Do you also help people transfer their business skills as they're looking to move into a different industry, perhaps?
Absolutely. Either a different industry or a different career, actually, but not the specific things like resumes.
All the hard stuff, how to network, like all that
Yeah,
stuff.
all that, that's not what I do. But I definitely transitioned them from one job to another, or one company to another, which is more focusing on the transition, the process of transitioning, and how to do that smoothly and in a balanced, grounded way.
So how do you take your candidates or your businesses from distress to success? What does that look like when you're sitting in your chair?
It looks like a lot of fun, for one thing, and it's also very exciting because when they are moving from one thing to the next, it's typically because they have a desire or a drive to do something different in their life, and that's what I like to focus on. What it is they're moving towards. I would say that the key thing, one of the key things, and I wish I could say that what I do is rocket science, but it's not. It's really just based on a few basic, simple principles. One of which is to define what they want, ask for it, and be open to and willing to receive it. So for my chair, when they come looking for that transition from career distress to career success, it's really the first thing to do is just have them define what it is what they want. Once they do that, the rest is very easy. I believe people are absolutely capable of anything they set their mind to. So it's really just having them understand and define what that is.
So that was the first one, defining it, and the second one is
asking for it.
Asking for it. And what is that? Tell me more about asking for it.
Well, what's amazing to me is what I've found, and both with myself and all the people I work with, is that most of the times they'll falter in one of those two areas. They haven't defined what they want, so how can they possibly go out and get it? But once they do, a lot of times they don't proactively go out there and ask for it. Once you know what it is, ask, whether it's in the case of, I know this is about a career corner, so if you're looking for a career, use your network. But everyone has a network. Everyone has their social circles. And with Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and all these other now technological ways to leverage that network, it's once you've identified it, go and ask. You have no idea how amazingly easy it is to connect with people who can help you get what you want.
And your third point?
Was to receive it. And
people have trouble receiving sometimes. A lot of people, I find, like to be the giver or the doer.
Yes.
But to sit back and say, I've achieved this, and to be open to it. Is that where you kind of help them unhinge that fear? Is it a fear, you think, or is just not used to having those skills, or how do you define that?
Well, two things. First, I'll say absolutely people have challenge with receiving it. And I just recently added that. Before, it was really the first two things I focused on. But I started to realize my biggest challenge is to actually receive it. And so you're right. I mean, it's so hard for people to receive all that is coming their way. And just to be open to it, what they'll find is that life becomes a heck of a lot easier. So yeah, receiving it is the key thing. And I think what the challenges are with people is that they have something that I call belief ceilings. So part of what I'll do in my work is get an understanding of what people's beliefs are, and literally just have them list them. And essentially, what I'm doing is creating an awareness of those things. And once they understand what they are, they may find that they have limiting beliefs, and those limiting beliefs often are what gets in the way of them receiving what it is they want or moving on towards, the new future they want for themselves.
Do you think some of those beliefs manifest during childhood of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy of success? Do those seeds get planted when we're young people, and then they kind of grow into big trees, the kind of trees we don't want necessarily in our business lives?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not a psychologist or a therapist or anything. So
I'm married to one, so I feel like I can.
Well, then you know better than I do. But yes, I do believe that's where so many of our beliefs get formulated, and we don't even know it. See, the challenge is when we don't know what our beliefs are, they run us. So that's the importance of generating the awareness of those beliefs so that we can find them, see them, and then decide, choose. Is that who I am? Is that what I want? Or do I want something else?
Do you think people are aware when they have limited beliefs, or was it a belief ceiling?
Yeah, I call it belief
I like
ceilings,
that.
Yeah, because they bump onto, we all have them, I have them, we bump into them and we just stop. And we don't know what it is. We can't figure out why aren't I moving forward in my career or my business, whatever it is, or my social life and dating, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And what it typically is underneath it all is there's some belief that we're holding in ourselves. I mean, the perfect example is, I have a worksheet that I use with my clients, and I just call it the beliefs worksheet. And I do, before I give things to my clients, I always do them myself. And so I was filling this out, and I was like, here's my belief, and it was, oh, that's good. And then just what flowed from my pen is, I will never be financially successful or a huge financial success. I literally stopped. I was like, what the heck is that? And where did that come from? But it wasn't until that point that I could see it that I actually realized that was something that I was butting up against, and it stopped me.
So how did you go about changing that mantra, changing that self-talk to saying, hey, I'm worthy of financial success, I'm going to manifest it, and I'm open to receiving it?
Right. One of the key things, again, it's not rocket science. Once we generate an awareness of something as humans, once we generate an awareness of something, and if it is something we don't want, then we go to work on it. So for me, awareness is a key and huge thing that I look to do and look to generate with my clients. It's as if, so as an example, using that, you will never be a huge financial success. Once you're aware of that, then I would pose to them as I pose to myself, okay, here it is. Do you want to be a huge financial success, or do you want to be just, in poverty or getting by and struggling? Choose. And when you put it to them, when I put it to my clients, whatever it is, the belief they're struggling with, I put it in black and white like that and ask them to choose. It almost becomes humorous, and I do make it humorous. I put a lot of drama around the ugly one, and then just, could put the one that's there before them to choose and take and start working on. And then, we're humans and we're not dumb, and we'll choose the other belief or the new belief to create.
So it's kind of like almost digging up those old seeds of self-doubt or disbelief in whatever the topic is, and planting new seeds and new affirmations and beliefs around that.
Exactly. I actually, with my clients, what I ask them to do is, after they've created their beliefs, I ask them to go through it and choose which ones work for them and serve their needs, and which ones don't, and those that don't, rewrite a new belief.
That's a great practice. So any of us out there can actually do that and take some of those nuggets. I often like for people to take the pebble from the hand during the show, so they can take a few bits of wisdom, and that is a fabulous one for that. Is there a particular client that stands out for you, a particular business that you feel like, yes, I really enjoyed working with them, the transformation was huge? Can you share any success stories like that? There's your favorites?
There's two I'll share. There's one that I was working with a business, and one an individual, an executive. And the business was, I guess it was about 2 or 3 years ago, I went in, and it was a family business, and there were 6 owners, and there were 3 siblings and their spouses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I
didn't realize.
And you signed up for this voluntarily.
Well, I didn't realize what I was getting into. That first day when I walked in for that first meeting, I was able to assess.
It's like worse than the Brady Bunch,
Yeah. I was able to assess immediately that there was a lot of family dynamics going on and things that were just... were part of the
history.
challenge.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. There was a lot going on, and so when I started working with them, I was working both individually to have them break down everyone's bringing their own stuff to the table, and the challenge was to get them to again, become aware of it, identify it, but leave it behind so that when they come to the table, they can start working on what they want to start working towards as a group, as an organization. And so when I went in there, it was challenging, maybe dysfunctional, as many families often are.
Especially when you tie business into it.
Absolutely.
They could be friendly around the Thanksgiving turkey.
Right.
But come the business of who's doing what or to whom.
Right.
Okay.
And so it was such a huge success because I was able to break through a lot of the tension that was there between some of the members. And so I was doing that a lot on an individual basis, creating awareness on their own, having them work through their things. But then at the table, we really did. We were able to establish a vision and a goal that they wanted in the next, I guess it was about 8-10 years, and have them really start bringing their strengths to the table. And probably the best part about this was that it was all done in fun. This is actually still one of my favorite clients because they allow me to bring the creativity and fun that I have to their office and their work. And it's amazing how much easier that makes anything we do in life. If you have fun with it, if you're laughing a lot, if you're being creative, it's phenomenal. And actually, we just had a meeting the other day with them where we're discussing plans for 2012 and was shocked that the gentleman who, when I first started working with this group, and I walked into his office for the first time, the first thing out of his mouth to me was, well, of course you know I don't want you here. And so he was the biggest...
Thank you for your honesty.
Exactly.
We'll give him that much.
It was great, and I really did appreciate that.
Yeah, you know what you're working with.
Exactly. But what was amazing, he went from that to... At this last meeting, when he's setting forth his goals for 2012 and all the people that work underneath him, he brought such creativity and fun and acknowledgement to it. There was such a transformation that occurred in him. It was phenomenal.
Now, do the other people, are they aware of each other's successes and how the paradigm is shifting with them?
Absolutely.
Do they see that?
Absolutely. Okay. It's phenomenal that, I mean, it's one of my favorite clients. I just love working with them.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, because they do. They recognize it in each other and they acknowledge it and they just help each other rise, to higher levels. So
that's the personal side of it. How has that impacted the business and the ROI, the return on investment for
absolutely,
them?
The business has been growing. They actually, what's amazing about them now, and here's the thing, I never credit myself for the work. I mean, it's clearly, if there are a lot of successes being created, it's my clients making me look good. But they have grown throughout this whole recession. They've been adding employees, their revenues have been growing. It has been a phenomenal success story that is just really, I'm just really happy to witness it and honored that they've invited me into that.
Well, I find that some of the best coaches always seem to bring out the innate wisdom and the innate gifts of the people that they're not aware they have and to get them in touch. So if you're helping weed out the bad things, and then plant new things, and you get to watch this beautiful harvest. That's really
and you're
story.
You're exactly right. I mean, that is one of those other basic principles that I come and work with any of my clients with. It's just the fact that I don't have the answers to them. I'm just going to bring the answers out in them. I believe that they have.
I like that. That's beautiful.
They have absolutely everything they need to succeed, and I'm just going to help them in some cases get out of their own way so that they can do that.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
We'll be breaking in a few moments. When we come back, I would love to hear more about the individual one-on-one, although it sounds like there's a lot of little individual wins with the group one and then the company win in that way. So they probably feel like, you're their work husband. And
I've been called that several times.
Yeah. Everyone needs a good work husband.
Absolutely.
That's just the way that goes. So you've been with that client for how many years?
It's going on 3 years, I think.
Okay.
I have to go back and look at the records. But
and the fact that you can keep them joyful and looking forward to 2012, because we keep hearing that it's going to be a slow year. It's with things going out the euro and it's very uncertain times right now. So if people can be joyous and look at what the gifts are and where the opportunities are during that, then. And
that's what happens. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love working with small businesses, because they have that attitude to begin with. When this recession started, I noticed a lot of the big corporations were ducking for cover and looking, how can we cut back? How can we just make it through? All of the clients that I work with, the smaller businesses, were asking a different question, and they started those questions with 3 very powerful words: how can we? And so. And it's for anyone, whether it's an individual or a business. If you start with that, your mind is in a completely different space, and it starts to look at the solution-oriented I guess, solution-oriented solution, you know, and it starts looking at things differently and starts to come up with the answers that they need.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it really is. It's very exciting.
Wonderful. So we'll be back in a moment after this break with our guest, Rich Largman, business coach.
In this economic downturn, libraries across New Jersey are reporting jumps in attendance of as much as 50% over the past year. Nearly 200,000 people use our computers every week.
Who'd have guessed that I'd be job hunting at my age? After spending several hours at home trying to upload my resume, I was just overwhelmed. My library showed me how to do it. Now I'm gaining back my confidence.
New Jersey libraries are transforming lives. Tell us your story.
Hi, welcome back to the Career Corner. Today we're with business coach Rich Largman. So Rich, can you please talk to us about how people can own their own power, especially in this economy when many people are in jobs that they may not be happy in or they feel stuck? What do people do in that situation?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you pointed to one of the key things is that to remember that they own their own power, or the cliche, you own your own destiny. And I think too many times people have given that up either to the corporation they work for or the situation they're in. But it's once they ground themselves and remember that they can change their own lives in whatever it is they want, however they want. They can then manifest whatever it is they want to create for themselves. And I find that people, especially in corporations, I know it's from career distress to career success, they have, a lot of times they've given over their power. They feel, oh, my boss did this or the company did that.
Yes, I'm a victim. I'm a
victim, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a very important word. And I think back to when I used to work at AT&T many, many years ago before I left there. And there was a colleague of mine who was in my office, an office mate, and he was the victim. He would complain and complain and complain about the company doing this and that, and like everything was being done to him.
Yeah.
And I finally looked at him and I just simply said, you can always leave. And it just stopped the conversation. And it's again, it's about generating that awareness. It's like, look, if you don't like it here, leave. And I remember when I finally did leave, I met so many people were coming up to me like, what are you doing? Like I was leaving the mothership and what's going to happen next? And it's,
You're like, I'm not leaving America, I'm changing jobs. Yeah.
Exactly. And actually at that point I wasn't even changing jobs. I just knew that AT&T wasn't for me. It wasn't how I thought. I didn't understand how they made decisions, and it wasn't a right fit for me. So whatever I was going to go to next was better than where I was. And that's what people need to remember.
You outgrew it.
Yeah.
And maybe it was still serving other people's needs well.
Absolutely.
But it wasn't serving yours.
Absolutely.
And I think part of it is knowing when you're done.
Exactly. That's a big point. And a lot of people go beyond that, and they become more and more unhappy with their lives.
And it poisons the well.
It absolutely does.
I feel that way with other folks too that I've met, and even in current organizations that I work with, and that if they're so unhappy, then find a way out or start planting the seeds so you can leave when you're really ready.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can't walk out. But what do people say when they hear you saying, "Oh, well, control your own destiny"? People do that. People are like, "How? How do I start doing that?"
Right. I think, again, it's one of the first things I'll say to them is, well, first, it's baby steps. Because I think they get overwhelmed by the fact I'm here and I want to get over there, or I don't want it like it here and I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And they just overwhelm themselves. So I break it down into just baby steps and get them to first, understand what it is that they don't like. Let's get real grounded in where they are and what they don't like, because that's an easy way then to understand, well, what do you want more of? Or what would you like better? And what happens is we start to create a different future for them, because they're stuck in that. They're stuck in that.
They can't see anything else.
No. Most people, especially those that work for corporations, it's a treadmill. And a lot of us, especially here in the Northeast, are stuck in this. You get up, you have your coffee, maybe you say goodbye to the kids.
Hit that train or jump in that car.
Exactly. It's a commute, you're at work, you work God knows how many hours these days. You come back, you struggle with traffic again, you come home, maybe eat dinner. If you're exhausted, maybe watch some TV, say hello to the kids. And
I'm tired just hearing you describe it like that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are stuck in that.
Mm-hmm.
And that I hate seeing that because we are such vibrant souls.
Yeah.
And
it's a short ride. Life is short.
Yes.
We hear of people, ascending all of the time. So, there's a book called The Dash. Have you heard about that?
Yes, I know about The Dash. I haven't read the book.
Yeah,
but
it's very nice. The Dash. It's like, what do you do
between
the dash?
Yeah.
So it's like that dash of what between the year of your birth, the year of your death. What are you making of it?
Right.
And life's too short to be complaining and be miserable in a job. But even the self-talk, and sometimes you can do a mental shift where you're at. And
Right.
decide to be engaged or to learn more or to add value to that if you feel like you can't leave or it's not the right time for your family or
Right.
something. But I think getting out of the victim mentality is the biggest gift people can give themselves.
Right, and the opposite side of that, we say victim mentality, that's kind of on the negative side.
Mm-hmm.
The positive side of that, when you say the mental talk, it's choosing.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you may not like things there, you're there for certain reasons. I mean, you may have a mortgage to pay, mouths
Yeah.
to feed, colleges
Yeah.
to pay for. That's awesome, and that's important. It's a wonderful responsibility that you have taken on. So choose to be there. I am going to work so that I can provide this for my
Yeah,
family.
yeah.
And be present and grounded there rather than everywhere else, which may just cause you distress.
Yeah, and some people work 2 or 3 jobs to pay.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are really working very hard in many different ways.
Right.
So, and to feel like I'm doing this with a purpose in mind, because I think there's no shame in a good day's work.
No, not at all.
And we all need to, regardless of what that is.
Right.
So when you can have people saying, okay, I have gratitude for the fact that I have to get up and commute, that I have the ability to do that.
Right.
It kind of shifts that focus, I think,
Right.
in a positive way too.
And I think when I find people in this space, one of the things that I use in my coaching and that I certainly hear in my own mind when I hear someone complaining is a complaint is an unspoken request. So when someone...
This is good marriage counseling. A complaint is an unspoken request.
Right.
You're right. It always is.
Absolutely. And so I try and get them out of that complaint space and just ask them, what's your request?
Again, ask. That kind
Yeah,
of stuff,
exactly. And it really is. It's that, you talked about the mind talk and the self-talk. It's just that slight mind shift. That's all it is. It's the same thing. We're dealing with the same issue. It's just I don't want to hear you complain about it. I can't do anything with the complaint except
Yeah.
listen to you.
Yes.
Make a request. Now
Yeah.
we can get to work.
See, perfect marriage advice. You can have a side shingle, like...
I haven't had any marriage requests, although what's interesting is recently 2 people have come up to me and asked me to work with their sons or daughters,
Ah, okay.
which I thought was very interesting. But again, it's just, again, it's not rocket science that I'm doing. It's really just about human nature and understanding how people tick and understanding that we have this infinite capability inside us. And I just want to bring that out. That's all I want to do is bring that out. And they always succeeded. In the 14 years I've been doing this, only 2 people, really, we didn't have as much success as I would have liked.
Some people are just determined not to see the light, kind of.
Yeah.
But that's a really good odds of only 2 out of how many,
Yeah, a lot.
Lots,
But also
yeah.
I think, I don't put that all on them. It wasn't that they didn't see the light. With coaching, I often say, there's 2 things that you want to look for when you're hiring a coach. The first is, do they have the experience and expertise that you want? And the second, which I think is more important, is the chemistry. Because you're really going to be working
Yes.
and doing a lot of hard work and sometimes deep work with this coach, and you just want to feel very comfortable with them.
Yeah.
So I think with those 2 people, I take as much responsibility as they do because I just don't think the chemistry was right.
Well, I'm sure they got what they needed, though, at that time.
People always do. You
Yeah.
get exactly what you
Yeah.
need.
No, and sometimes it's different. My dad always has a phrase, people generally do the best they can. And he'd say to me, sometimes it may not be not good enough for you, but maybe at that level, that's all they can give at the moment.
Exactly.
And that was my dating advice from my father. So, yeah, maybe they're not calling you as much, but that's probably the best they can do.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's,
yeah.
that's
And that
good.
helped.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I
sometimes
think
those
everybody
little-
does. Everybody does as best they can do right now, wherever they are at this point in their life. And then the rest of it is the lesson for them. It's the
Yeah.
growth that they're going to get out of that.
What, I know you've done some speaking recently. Have you spoke on any topics that were new or added something interesting to your portfolio of what you'd like to expand on?
Well, a lot of the speaking I've been doing have been to students, college students,
Oh,
and
great.
universities, and that's been a lot of fun. It's also been very challenging because they're in a different mindset, and I think what I speak with them most, it's on one of the grounding principles again that I use. It's something I've called the spectrum of awareness. Everything I do, I build off of awareness again because if people have awareness about something, they will get into action about what it is if they want to change it. So, I'll speak to them about various aspects of awareness. This spectrum of awareness that I talk about essentially it flows through a lot of these things I've mentioned already. First you generate awareness, and then there's consciousness, which is having that awareness in each and every moment of your life. Then there's choice. Once you have that consciousness, then you are able to make that choice in everything that's going on around you. You're not a victim to anything. You are then in control of what's going on. And then the final thing is responsibility. So awareness, consciousness, choice, and responsibility. And that responsibility is twofold. It's to yourself, first and foremost. Are you doing, what you need to do for yourself? And then it's to the universe, to the world around you. You can't just be self-centered and
you can't just be a taker. Yeah.
No, you have to make sure, is that the right choice for all that is around me as well? And when I can get people into this flow or this spectrum and they start to see these things, their life just starts taking off, and what I like to say, the magic starts occurring around them. Like I always say, the universe wants to give us everything we want, and it wants to deliver it to us on a silver platter right here in front of you. The question is that space in front of you clear? Is it clear the clutter? Are you free and ready to receive that? And if you are, you'd be amazed. Just let it start happening. And it has. I've witnessed it over and over and over again. It's phenomenal.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
It really is,
Yeah.
and it resonates with me very much so. And I think you help get people their shine back.
Yes, thank you for saying it that way. That's really a beautiful way to say it.
I feel like, you see people that are shiny. I try to be a shiny person. Some days, it's hard to be shiny. But when you're doing the work on yourself in some sort, it makes you shine differently. It makes you have like a sparkle.
Yeah. Well, and I remember when I had finally made that choice to leave AT&T, so I knew what I wanted, I knew which direction I was headed. People started asking me, what's going on? Because they could sense there was something different about there was something different about my spirit. So you're right. I think people can sense the shine, and it is about the shine. And I also agree. You shine quite brightly.
Thanks, Rich. We try. So we have like a minute left. Any last moment tips you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, I would just I think rephrase first and foremost that always own your power. Get reconnected to the fact that you are in control of your life. And as soon as you start pointing the finger elsewhere and blaming somebody or someone else for why your life isn't as good as you'd like it, it's time to take a breath and just, reconnect to yourself. And I would say, just, generate that awareness in your life, whether it's sit and meditate, write in your journal, go for a walk, whatever it is, ground yourself so that the clarity will come to you if you can, identify what you want, define what you want, ask for it, and then be open to receiving it.
I love it. So how do people get a hold of you? How do they find you? Your website, we'll post it right here online.
The best way is through the website, which is theempireofhope.com, all one word.
Great.
And there's ways they can email me from there.
Okay, fabulous. That's so good. Thank you so much for being our guest today with
Thank
all your
you.
valuable and fabulous and very sparkly and useful information. I want to go home and take copious notes. And thank you all for joining us with our wonderful guest. If you'd like to see more videos and to catch this one, you can also see us on YouTube. So check us out for the Career Corner at SOMAtv.org. Until we meet again, I wish you much career success.